Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I wanted to really focus in on some of the biggest storylines, some of the biggest takeaways so far through Jets training camp, because there's a couple big ones. And, there's a lot of actual, realistic positive news coming out of these practices, of these press conferences, and even also, too, with the obvious injury updates with guys like Jermaine Johnson and Justin Fields. So let's actually start there with Justin. And I think the first thing on this list here has got to be Fields' toughness, right? Obviously, the whole dislocated toe situation happened, but for him to suit up, for him to jog around, for him to participate in 7-on-7s, taking snaps and whatnot is, really, really cool. But it goes a step further because, when Fields initially went down, there was actually a lot of Bears fans that reached out to me and they were like, hey man, don't be surprised if Fields comes back a lot quicker, because the initial expectation was, okay, he's day to day. That could be he returns in 3 days. It could be he returns in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Does he miss a preseason game? All just a bunch of different questions. How many starting reps is he actually going to be missing with the ones? But a lot of Bears fans, again, reached out and said, man, this guy wants to be on the field. He's an absolute warrior. He's played through broken ribs. Like, this guy, he really lays it on the line. And, I don't want to make it sound like a dislocated toe is, some catastrophic injury here. But, the fact that he's already on the field and the quick turnaround doesn't seem to be rushed. It doesn't seem to be forced in any sort of way. It's just kind of natural. Like, it's naturally happening here is really, really cool. And, of course, the on-field stuff has been impressive, but I think that also sends a message to the locker room to, like, kind of even just subliminally, right? Like, what is Garrett Wilson? What are some of these young guys, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, who we're going to talk about in a second, Gardner, right? They're looking at Justin Fields. You're the quarterback. You're the leader of this football team. This dude could easily just chill for a week, right? Chill for a week, hang back, kick his feet up, not do much, maybe just stand on the sidelines, report to meetings and all that kind of stuff. He does not have to suit up and actually attempt to go out and take snaps and jog around, run 7-on-7s, but he's doing it anyway. No one's forcing him to be there and trying to do and accomplish those types of things. So I think it does send a pretty positive message to the rest of the team, to the coaches. Hey, I want to be here. I am the leader. I'm going to make it happen. I want the starting job. I want these first team reps, and I'm going to do what I can to stay on the field. So the second point here is, through these practices so far, it feels just overall very clear, direct, to the point. Aaron Glenn, Steve Wilks, Tanner Engstrand. Here's where we want to be. Here's where we're at. This is how we want to get to where we need to be. It feels like the players have a really, really good understanding on what they're asked to do, what their role is, both offensively, defensively, and of course on special teams. It just feels like we have a lot less questions than the past couple of seasons, and it's interesting because the Jets parted ways with a lot of veteran players. No more Devontae Adams, no more Tyron Smith, no more Morgan Moses, no more Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of no more Chuck Clark. There's a lot of veterans gone. A lot of veterans that are gone. And so you would kind of think, okay, like a veteran-led team with a lot of expectations. We know we have a lot of answers. We know what this team is going to look like, but it never really felt that way. And now we're looking at like all these young guys expected to impact the team in one way or another. Second-year guys expected to take a jump. Young guys maybe entering like their third or fourth year. The hope is, okay, you know what? Working with this coaching staff, maybe they can get a little bit better. Will McDonald, or Jermaine Johnson, somebody like that. And when I say less questions about the roster, it's like Olu's a left tackle, no questions asked. Membu, top 10 pick, right tackle, no questions asked. Mason Taylor, yeah, he's going to be tight end 1. It is what it is. Yeah, we have a couple of positional battles. Who's going to be the day one starting strong safety? Is it going to be Malachi Moore winning that job? Is it going to be Tony Adams? Who is that player going to be? Could the Jets maybe bring in another free agent? But I mean, really from top to bottom, it just kind of feels like really only like two kind of looming questions. Number one, who's going to win the starting center battle? It doesn't really, like, as a fan, I just can't get a read on the pulse of, who the Jets actually favor there. Is it Tippmann? Is it Myers? Is it both straight 50-50 across the board? And it's purely, hey, whoever's the most impressive here wins the job. That's it. Or is it maybe 60-40 to Josh Myers because Tippmann is coming off a great season and he's, a young player who can still get better. Obviously, he's a cheap player on a rookie deal. Maybe it's 60-40 going the other way. Josh Myers. Aaron Glenn coached against him. Aaron Glenn knows Josh Myers. Myers has experience working with Justin Fields. He made it a priority to go out and sign Josh Myers and said, hey, you are full on, like you are in a position to start games. You just have to go out and earn the job. So that's just the one area that I feel a little bit of haziness around. And then the other is the whole Malachi Corley situation. Will he be the starting slot? He's battled some injuries. He's had some disappointing moments. He caught a touchdown in the most recent practice, which is pretty encouraging. But this is a former third-round pick. Ideally, I want to see him involved. But, after a disappointing year one, to come into year two and then to have that training camp filled with missed time and disappointing moments, I don't know. It just feels kind of strange. And then if it's not going to be Malachi Corley, who is going to be the starting slot wide receiver? You're kind of waiting for wide receiver 2, like someone's going to separate eventually. Like that's the hope. Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds, Allen Lazard, someone in that mix. But again, slot wide receiver, center, just kind of feels like the only two maybe areas or questions of this team that I'm looking at saying, I really don't know what's going on there, or I can't really tell where the Jets coaching staff is at with those two positional groups. But I mean, again, look at just last season, right? We drafted 2 running backs, and the hope is that we're going to run the football, yet we're not doing it. Aaron Rodgers, who is he going to be prioritizing in the passing game? Is it going to be Devontae Adams? Is it going to be Garrett Wilson? Is it going to be Allen Lazard? What's happening with all these offensive linemen being shuffled around, right? Guys taking snaps at left tackle one week, right tackle the next week, guard other weeks. Just very, it just felt like a lot of let's throw stuff against the wall, see what sticks, see if there's anything positive that can come out of it. Where again, I feel like with Glenn, with Muji, and this just whole new revamped team, revamped organization, if you will, it just feels very much like, hey, here are the bullet points, and we also have the roadmap to achieve our goals here, and that's exactly what we're seeing on a day-to-day basis. Storyline number 3 for me, Garrett Wilson is turning heads every single practice, right? Now, we know Garrett Wilson's a great wide receiver. We know his potential. We know he just signed the extension, which is great, but just to continuously see him, or I guess in this case, hear that he's making plays day after day after day after day, earning this contract in what he can do right now, forming/building upon the chemistry with Justin Fields. That whole relationship is going to be such an important gear in this offensive scheme. We already have Tanner Engstrand coming out and confirming that he's drawing up plays specifically for Garrett Wilson. That I don't think has happened before in the past, where it's just like, hey, we're like literally going to have a Garrett Wilson package where this guy, we view him in such a high regard that we are going to have a set amount of plays designed around getting him the football. I mean, that is sweet, right? And on the surface, it sounds pretty simple. Okay, our wide receiver 1, we got to draw up plays for him. Look at what the Bengals are doing. Look at what the Vikings are doing. Of course, Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, list goes on. All these teams with wide receiver 1s are like actively getting these guys involved. They're actively, trying to figure out ways to get them the football within the offense. But it just never really felt like Garrett had. It almost felt like Garrett was getting his numbers. He was getting his overall production in spite of all the dysfunction around him. Bad quarterback play, bad coaching, bad play calls, poor offensive line play. Last year, the offensive line play was actually pretty solid in pass protection. What we saw from John Simpson and Tippmann, Olu, AVT, of course, Morgan Moses as well. But it just feels that Garrett's primed for a big year. I don't want to be that Homer Jet fan. It just feels like this is the right environment for it. It feels like, the equation that we've seen all off season from what we've heard and seen, that typically equates to that wide receiver having a productive season. So I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what G5 does in the regular season. Takeaway number 4 so far, and this is honestly probably one of the most encouraging things on this list for me. It's been the linebacker play. Numerous reporters have talked about it. I would probably say Nick Ferry has talked about it the most. Apparently, these guys look fast. These guys look strong. These guys look smart. Stopping the run, dropping back into coverage, rushing the quarterback. We know, think about this for a second, right? Picture the Lions defense from last season. Just and we talk about this a lot, all the responsibility that Aaron Glenn placed on the linebackers. You have to be the quarterback of the defense. You're calling the defense. You're trying to rattle off plays. You are the leader. Again, you're dropping back in coverage, having to have those spatial awareness skills in coverage. You have to be able to stop the run. If the defensive line can't get home, if they can't stop at that first level, the linebackers, and also too with all of these 3x1 sets, chances are you're going to be in nickel defense a lot. And chances are if you're in a lot of nickel defenses, you're only going to have 2 linebackers out there. So, especially in these shotgun handoff situations, if the Jets are struggling to stop the run with their current defensive tackle setup, these linebackers have got to be able to come up and close, right? They cannot be breaking through the first level and then breaking through the second level with only 2 guys there, rattling off gains of 7, gains of 8, gains of 9 plus. That's just simply, it cannot happen. If it does, we're going to lose a lot of games. That's just the bottom line. And it goes further than just, stopping the run and dropping in coverage and, calling plays. Like, the amount of times that these linebackers blitz in this style of defense is pretty frequent, compared to what we've seen, especially from this Jets coaching staff in the past, 4 years now. Like, these linebackers are probably going to be trying to get into the backfield quite often, right? Attacking these mobile quarterbacks. We could also factor in covering running backs out of the backfield, right? Just picture this. Quarterback lines up in shotgun. You have your running back to the right side. You put 1 wide receiver out on the right side against Sauce Gardner. You snap the ball. You have that wide receiver block on the outside, and it's a quick swing pass to the running back, and he's just taking it upfield. Who's the closest guy to the football? Assuming that strong safety is not there, it's that linebacker. So you have to have speed to kind of close these gaps, have good angles being taken to the football. We saw some pretty impressive stuff from the Lions defense in doing that last season. And also what's really, really encouraging, not only are these guys looking really, really good with all these new responsibilities put on their shoulders, but they're still so young. I mean, Quincy and Sherwood, have these guys peaked? Have we seen the best of Quincy Williams and Jamie Sherwood? I'm going to say no. I think it's fair, right? Also, keep in mind all the linebackers that both Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilks have been a part of, all the great linebacker play, all the development that we've seen. Let's just look at Steve Wilks. He's been around some of the best. Thomas freaking Davis, Luke Kuechly, Fred Warner, Greenlaw with the 49ers. Right? Go all the way back to when Steve Wilks was a DB coach. So, yeah, of course, he wasn't working like hand in hand with this player, but he was still around him. And, of course, we're talking outside linebacker here, more of a 3-4 setup. But Sean Merriman, right? Wilks had a firsthand look at what Sean Merriman was able to do for that Chargers defense way back when. Who else? I know a lot of people kind of get on the Cleveland Browns, especially in this era. But, the 2019 Browns, where the team didn't really have that much success. There was a lot of defensive question marks, but when we purely look at linebacker play, Joe Schobert had a fantastic season for that Browns defense. And I just don't think it's coincidence that, wherever Steve Wilks is, we start seeing pretty impressive linebacker play. And that's just one side of the coin, right? Think about Aaron Glenn's linebacker tree, if you will, right? Demario Davis back in New Orleans. He's still playing at a high level despite his age. First round pick Jack Campbell. We've seen great development from Alex Anzalone, right? Derek Barnes, and also star of Hard Knocks, Malcolm Rodriguez, who's seen actual regular season minutes, regular season snaps. That wasn't just like a Hard Knocks feel-good story. No, he's actually contributing on game day. So we know Sherwood, we know Quincy both have high ceilings. And again, it's just great to see that both of these guys are really adjusting well and performing well so far through camp. And then last but not least, we got to talk about Braylon Allen, right? Braylon Allen. And we do have to make a note. No contact. So the offensive guys, they always kind of have an advantage. Defense always feels like farther along, like playing collectively as a unit. But as far as like individual performances, the offensive guys, outside of offensive line, like skill position guys, like if they know that they're not going to be tackled, yeah, you can get upfield a lot quicker than maybe if you're like bracing for contact or you're trying to lower your shoulder or something. But Braylon Allen has looked the part, right? He's catching passes, he's looking fast, he's looking strong, and he's been turning a ton of heads so far. He's in a similar boat as Garrett Wilson, where every single practice he's making plays. That is awesome. I love Braylon Allen. He's my second favorite player on this offense. Just such a hard-nosed runner. And like you're kind of, again, you're looking at Detroit, right? Aaron Glenn coming in from Detroit, Tanner Inkstrand coming in from Detroit, Steve Hyden coming in from Detroit. All these Lions coaches, like it's obvious that we're gonna try to bring over some of that Lions DNA. Could Braylon Allen be like the new David Montgomery for the New York Jets, right? Where he's kind of like the Thunder to the Breece Hall Lightning, right? You know, if Braylon can rack up like 800 rushing yards this year, 700 rushing yards this upcoming season as an RB2, I mean, we're going to be in a great position, assuming Breece has, you know, his numbers, and also looking at Justin Fields' numbers on the ground as well. I mean, we're not even including Isaiah Davis here. Like, just if you have Breece give us a normal Breece season, maybe minus some of the mistakes, and Braylon can give us 700-800 rushing yards, which is like a typical David Montgomery type of season. I mean, that is freaking no joke. Like, we're going to be a solid rushing attack if that is the case. And I definitely think that's realistic to bring up 100%. I just don't see a guy like this with this much potential, this physical of a player, this much size. I mean, he's providing versatility, or showing off versatility too, with catching passes. I just don't see someone like this not getting volume. I thought he was going to have more volume last season when he was in the game. Like, this guy was a bowling ball going north and south. Guy, like, you could tell defenders did not want to try to tackle Braylon Allen. They didn't. Not at all, right? Go back and watch some Braylon Allen highlights. If you have 5 minutes free throughout the day, just pop those on and just look at how physical of a force that this guy was. You know, so he just feels like an Aaron Glenn type of player. Again, underutilized last season, in my opinion. I just think I just can't see a world where he gets 250 rushing yards. 300 rushing yards. No, I think his overall productivity, his overall volume, they're both going to shoot up this season. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and as always, go Jets.